Thank the chairman and the ranking member for having this hearing. I continue to learn more about the issue every time I hear more about not only No Child Left Behind, but about various ideas. I think it's a recommendation for the hearing that we have a packed crowd. We've had standing room only the whole time, so I think it is good. And I, for one, see problems as a physician. You try to diagnose the problem, you try to fix it. And we should continue to look at that as a problem-solving sort of orientation for this. I do think that there is a large philosophical sort of debate and battle that is part of this. For example, I hear ideas from people who are probably Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative on this panel, and a lot of them are good ideas. To my mind, it's not whether it's a good idea or bad, it's where it gets instituted that does make a difference. For example, Mr. Greer has ideas, Mr. Seaton has ideas. They all sound good, but I'm afraid that once we make them universal, and I would probably vote for Mr. Greer to be superintendent or Mr. Luna to be superintendent of their school, I don't want him to be the national superintendent of schools. And so it is a big difference. How much is it federal? I think for the most part, the farther we, and this is a philosophical point, the farther we get away from the local school, the worse it gets. And the farther we get away from local government to national government, the worse the oversight gets. I don't know that we can judge who a good teacher is. I think Ms. Gisselhart's a good teacher, but I would have to know more. I would have to sit in her class, and I would have to look at that. I would have to maybe judge on how well her students are doing, but it's complicated. But I don't think I can ever know here whether she's a good teacher or not. And Columbia, Kentucky is different than Memphis, is different than Houston. So my argument for it is to keep in mind that there is a philosophical question here on local versus federal, and I think we're coming together in understanding that maybe federal overbearing or federal overreach in education hasn't been good, and that it sometimes makes people a number. People talk about special needs kids and special education kids. I think to put a number on them makes them some sort of abstract mathematical percentage is a mistake. I mean, I don't know how I can tell whether 17 or 30 is right for the school district in Richmond, Kentucky. I would think only locally they could figure that out. So I think we shouldn't have numbers in our bill that say, you know, I think we all are concerned. I don't think Mr. Thomas is not concerned about special needs. He's concerned about being judged unfairly, or his school is. Now, I think we've gone a long way in the a long way towards fixing some of these problems, you know, with AYP, with the yearly progress. But I still am concerned that we still have the testing mandates, which will have people practicing to do tests. I don't think we've fixed that. I think that is still a problem that should be and could be fixed, and so I'm glad we're having this hearing because we still will try on the floor, and I would encourage all of you through your organizations, anybody through any teaching organization, still to continue to lobby Congress, because I've been at least given some indication that we may allow amendments on the floor, relevant amendments to this, and I hope we will so we can make it better. We don't do this very often. We haven't done it in a long time, so we need to try to make it better. I am concerned, and I'd like to ask this question, is that we are still going to judge the bottom 5% the way we've been judging schools, but we've kind of determined the way we've been judging schools wasn't very good. So, and somebody can help me out if I'm wrong on this, but I think we're still going to judge the bottom 5% the way we've been judging schools. The problem I have with that is that my kid goes to a public high school and it gets awards from either Forbes magazine or Newsweek of being one of the best schools, but it's also told it's failing by No Child Left Behind. 37 states won out. And so really that makes me think the law is not very good. Maybe we need more dramatic changes than what we're actually addressing. But I guess my question is how are we going to determine if our model is not working for determining which is a good school now? Is it a good thing to keep the 5% judged that way, or do we need to reassess how we judge who are the bottom 5%? And I'd like to start out with Mr. Thomas and see if he'll make a comment on that, but then I'd be more than welcome to hear other folks on this as well.
Thank you, Senator Paul. Well, I just think that it's very difficult whenever you use one measure to determine